to La La Land Crafts channel. This is Irina and I am here today with day 15 of our 18 days of tutorials. Only 3 more days left. Yesterday we asked for suggestions on what you would like to see in the next tutorials, and one of the requests was for me to show you how to make simple last-minute cards and assembly with tips and tricks. So here's what I did. These are the 8 cards that are made from scratch with the card base and everything I'm going to show you in the tutorial. They are all made from the same type of cardstock. They are using the same kind of embellishments, but they have different layouts to make them more interesting. If you're just now joining our 18 days of giveaways, there are links on the video description below where you can follow and comment on the previous videos, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you will be entered for a chance to win one of 3 gift certificates to our online store. We'll do the drawing on the 19th. At the same time, we also have an event going on our blog when our design team members are showing their projects for you for even more inspiration. So please take a look and comment on their videos as well. The more times you comment, the more entries you'll get into the giveaways. And of course, we love reading your comments. That's always great for us to hear your feedback about our videos and about our products and projects. I'll see you in a second for the tutorial. Okay, let's start with the tutorial. This is going to be full tutorial on how to make cards from scratch to show you how easy it actually can be. I'm going to make 8 cards in this tutorial just to show you the variety. I'm going to cut all of the layers at once to save on time. This is the time-saving tip right here. So I have 8 pieces of the white cardstock. I'm going to grab first 4 and I'm going to make my card bases. Great cutter is very important. I'm using Caterpillar Pro from mine, and actually this is the older version. They used to have it with metal, now it's plastic. I have one with plastic as well. They work just the same way. As you can see, some of my lines are gone from here. This is just from being loved so much. Now I'm going to grab 2 at a time. This is the time-saving tip. And this is 11 side, this is 11.5 cardstock. I'm going to line it up at 5.5 inches and cut it in half. That gives me 4 card bases. For the next set, this is again 2 pieces of cardstock right here. I'm going to cut it vertically just to give a variety to my cards. And this is, I'm cutting at 4.25. Next, I'm going to cut my card layers. I have my 4 pieces of gold cardstock here, and usually I do my layers 1/4 of an inch smaller. So if our card size folded is 5.5 by 4.25, these layers are going to be 5.25 by 4. I can cut this way, so since I need 5.25, I'm going to line it up at 10.5 first and cut it right here. Then I'm going to move my paper and cut it at 5.25. Then this way, I'm going to cut it first at 8 inches and then at 4. So this gives me 2 layers on each cut. And again at 8 and 4, and the next layer just like that. My next layers are the white layer again, the same as the card base, and this layer is going to be 1/4 of an inch smaller, so this layer is 5 by 3.75. I'm going to grab 2 pieces again, line it up at 10, then 5, 7.5, and 3.75. Now next I have my scoring board here. And I'm going to create folds on my card bases. So I have 4 here. These are going to be scored at 4.25. So there's a mark right here at 4.25. And the long ones are going to be scored at 5.5. Then I can fold all of my cards and use my bond folder to For the layers on the inside of the cards, I'm going to grab 8 of these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and I'm going to add the embossed frame all the way around using 1/8 of an inch measurement. We would say this is optional. If you are in a complete rush, you can of course always skip this step. The next tip I have for you is to use bigger shapes like circles or rectangles, or I'm using squares. The die that I'm using is our double stitched squares die. I used wire cutters and I removed the smaller square out. If you already have all of your die separated, you can always use removable tape to put them back into the original kind of layout. And then what happens when you die cut, let me show you. When you cut it, you'll get 3 different shapes from one cut, and this is total time saver. So I have 3 of these different frames, 2 frames and the square that I can mix and match on my designs. The other time-saving tip I have for you, if you're using smaller shapes, cut multiple shapes at once. So I have the horse with the sleigh here and the tree, and if you put it on the plate together like this and cut them together, you're saving on your die cutting time. Another thing I recommend doing on the simple cards like this to give them more interest is to add simple detail that is very fast to do. I'm going to use a variety of our stencils to create different designs. You might have seen me do this already. I'm going to do 2 of the same design. To save on time assembling the cards, I recommend assembling the layers, doing white on gold for the inside and the embossed layers also, and then putting them in the cards. That saves on time as well. I'm going to change my tactic. Actually, since I'm holding this in my hands, I think it only makes sense to put it on the inside of the card right away. So this will be going on like this for the rest of the cards. One more tip, and this is actually I get asked quite a lot, how to line up the layers to make them straight. Well, first thing, you have to cut them straight, and then when you line them up, usually I line up on 3 of the sides, so making sure that my sides and my top have the same distance, and then when you drop it, your layer should be more or less perfect. Now I'm going to do the same with my embossed layers. And I'm going to attach them to my cards. I'm going to mix my cards here with different folds, the top fold or the side fold. I am actually not even going to worry about it right now. I'm just going to go ahead and glue them on and then figure out my designs later. As you know, I use foam to raise my layers, but in this case, for the last minute and to save on the cost of the shipping at this point, if you're still making Christmas cards, I think this is the good way to go. Tip number 33, be prepared to use a lot of adhesive. The other tip that I would like to mention is to use the runners for your adhesive versus using tape or glue. It just saves you on time so much. It goes on much faster. So I have my 8 card bases done. I have my squares die cut. I have my little horses die cut from white cardstock and the chipboard, and also I have the plenty of little trees die cut as well. I'm going to work like assembly line, so I'm going to first glue all of my white cardstock horses onto the chipboard. All of my horses are already done. Another tip I have for you is prepare pieces like this in advance. You can do all of your die cutting and then you can glue them together while you're watching TV or waiting for your kids at practice, or any downtime you have like that, you can prepare little pieces. Okay, so I have also die cut some of the layers from the gold cardstock, 1/4 of an inch larger than this square, this frame, and 1/4 of an inch larger than this square. So I believe this gold square is 2 by 2 and this gold square is 3 by 3. I'll list all of the dimensions in the description below, so you don't need to worry about it right now. I'm not sure how I'll be using them or if I will be using them at a kind of die cut to see what happens. Okay, so now let me put all of our 8 cards on and see what kind of different layouts we can master here. I have all of my cards now figured out kind of what I'm going to do for the design. I have a few pieces left here still, so this can be used on different cards later on. Or you can still add more to the inside of the cards and play with these pieces and see how you want to fit them on these 8 cards. Card number 1. I have 2 of the squares, my horse and my Christmas tree. It's pretty simple, but very pretty. I put my layers to the side. I think it creates more interest. You can also, for the same design, you can line them up like this, or in the center if you prefer. So even this one layout can be done differently. Number 1 is done, on to the next one. Card number 2. This card opens this way. I'm going to use just 1 square, and again my horse and my trees. Keeping it simple is the key to mass producing the cards. Card number 2 is done. Again, the square is on the side and in the lower corner to add more interest. Card number 3. This one opens this way, and I have a few layers here. My card number 3 is done. On to the next one. Card number 4. So this one has a similar design but without the second frame going on there. I die cut some chipboard off screen, so I'm going to add it under the smaller white square, and I use the same square die to die cut the chipboard, or you can just simply measure it and have that cut by hand, whatever works better and faster for you. I just couldn't stay away from chipboard. Needed just a little bit more of the dimension there. If I didn't mention yet, all of the supplies, all of the dies, plus gold cardstock are available on our online store at lalalandcrafts.com. I'll post all of the links to the products, direct links in the video description below for your convenience. And even though it might be late-ish to order something for this year, there's always next year. Card number 4 is done. On to the next one. Card number 5, and this one is horizontal. I have some layers here. I have white frame with gold cardstock layer, and then smaller gold square, the white square, and a piece of the chipboard. Card number 5, on to the next one. Card number 6 is very simple. What I did here, I cut one of the larger frames diagonally, and if you cut it this way, you can line it up like so, the same way I have on mine. If you cut it the other way, from lower right to top left, then it will give you the frames to go on the other side. You can even line them up like so. That would be actually really pretty too, because it just gives a little bit of the connection there, but you can actually create the full frame. So that would be the other option. For this card, I'm going to stick with my original design and line them up the way they are. Card number 6. One thing I want to mention, the reason I have my horse on this side on most of the cards, if it's not in the center, is because my horse is walking this way. If I put it on the other side of the card, it just visually looks like there's no place for it to walk. So for the design's sake, it just looks better this way. Card number 7. I have the gold layer, the same gold layer that we have the 3x3, but now I have it behind my large square frame, and it's gonna be in the center. Card number 7 done. On to the last one. Card number 8. We are almost done. I have my chipboard square plus my white square together. And this one I'm going to put to the side. So here is our card number 8. The last thing, I'm going to add some sequins to all of my cards. Now let's take a closer look at all 8 cards again. Our card number 1, our card number 2, card number 3, card number 4. They're all different, but they're all, as you can see, the same. If you decide to do all of the same, that would be a way to go too. And one more tip of the day for you: involve your family. This is what the holidays are all about anyways. Your family, your spouse, your siblings, your children. This is a great way to spend time together and get the Christmas cards done. And don't get stressed out. Even if you're sending your cards last minute, you can always call your recipients or send a quick message to let them know that the card is on the way, and they'll appreciate it. They'll love it as much if they received it on December 5th or if they'll receive it a few days after Christmas. Well, this is all from me for today. I'll see you again tomorrow on day 16. Bye for now.